All right, so here's some examples I pulled from the Delta Math assignment that you're doing for lesson 3.3. So simplify the following expression to simplest form using only positive exponents. So that means we want our answers to contain radicals if necessary and fractions. What I would suggest doing first is applying the power rule. That is where you multiply all the exponents. So I'm going to write this as 81 to the negative 3/4 power, because 1 times negative 3/4 would be negative 3/4. I'm going to multiply negative 12 times negative 3/4. A quick way to do that, by the way, is 12 times 3 and then divide by 4. So 12 times 3 was 36, divided by 4 would be positive 9. And then I'm going to do the same with 20. So 20 times 3 is 60, divided by 4 would be 15. That would actually be negative 15. Okay, for the next step, I would suggest writing any negative exponents as a fraction. So this would be equal to 1 over 81 to the 3/4 power. We still have x to the 9th. That's not a fraction. And we have 1 over y to the 15th power. Now we're going to work on this 81 to the 3/4 power thing, because what we can do is we can write this as a radical, and it would be 81, the 4th root of 81 raised to the 3rd power. And that will actually come out even. And I'm pretty sure that most of these do the same. They all come out even, similar to this. So the 4th root of 81 would be like doing the square root twice. So the square root of 81 is 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. So this would be the same as 1 over 3 to the 3rd. And 3 to the 3rd is equal to, 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So this would be 1 over 27. And I'm going to get all my fractions back here, and then I'm just going to do top times top, bottom times bottom. So our answer would be x to the 9th over 27y to the 15th. Okay, one more like that. Very similar to the last one, where I'm going to apply the power rule first and then simplify one thing at a time. So I would have negative 125 to the negative 5/3. 21 times negative 5/3, that's going to be negative 35, I believe. That would be 7 times, yeah, that's negative 35. And then y is going to be negative 3 times 5/3. Negative 5/3 would be positive 5. Write your negative exponents as fractions. So I have 2 fractions here, and then y to the 5th will stay the same. Okay, and then I'm going to work on this number, this value over here. So I need to do rewrite it as a radical. This would be the cube root of 125 raised to the 5th power. Okay. All right, cube root of 125 is 5, and 5 to the 5th power is 3,125. Okay, and then we're going to do top times top, bottom times bottom, just like we did before, and this would be exactly how you would want to type in your answer. All right, 2 more, say this is from a different section in the assignment. Express in simplest radical form, so they want you to turn this into a radical. Well, in this problem, the only thing that's attached to this fractional exponent is the x. So this really big number that's out here is just going to stay separated from the radical, because the radical will only appear wherever the fractional exponent, whatever it's attached to. So this would just be the 15/625 and then the 6th root of x. So you would type that in exactly like this. This next one's a bit different, because what we would want to do first is we would want to apply the power rule. Actually, no, let's not apply the power rule. Let's just write it as a radical. So being that there are parentheses, that means that everything is going to be inside of this radical. So this is going to be 243x squared. And then all of this here is getting raised to the second power. Sorry, I want to rewrite this a little bit nicer. So I'm going to rewrite it as the second power on the outside. Remember, you have the option to throw it on the inside. It doesn't matter at all. And then actually, I think what we do want to do is we want to look at the number separate from the letters. So maybe I'll kind of just go over here to the side, and I'm going to try to figure out if I can simplify this part with the 243. So grab a calculator and see if you can figure out the fifth root of 243. That is actually just 3. So all of this stuff right here with the numerical value, the coefficient, that ends up equaling 3, and 3 squared is equal to 9. So we can rewrite this expression as 9 on the outside, and then what we would have is we would have the fifth root of x squared, and that still gets raised to the second power. And then one more thing to make this look a little bit nicer is you may want to multiply the power on the inside times the power on the outside. It's kind of like applying power rule, just in a little bit different, of a different manner. Okay, an alternative, now that I think about it, that may be easier is probably, like I started to do, to apply the power rule. So multiplying the exponents. The reason why this may be a little easier is because it naturally separates the coefficient from the letter. That way you can kind of go over here and do all of the simplifying that I was trying to do with the coefficient value. It's supposed to be a 2. You could do all of that. It's already separated and on its own. So that we found was equal to 9. And then you can simplify by writing this part into a radical. Okay, so that may be a little bit quicker to get to an answer.